everyone. My name is Michelle and I do 5-star book reviews. That means every book I do a video on is worthy of 5 stars. So all you have to do is go on my playlist and look at the books that I consider worthy of 5 stars. And today we are talking about this book right here, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. This book came out December 31st. It has been on the New York Times bestseller for 4 weeks. It's only been out for 4 weeks. I don't know if that says enough. I think it does. I think it tells you how amazing this book is. And I couldn't wait to read it. Read it this weekend. Loved every minute of it. Down on your screen, 320 pages. Debut novel. My gosh, Kylie, this is your debut novel? I cannot wait to see what you are going to write next. This book is written so well. I loved so much about this book, but don't just take it from me, okay? Let's see what other authors have had to say about it. So we have Taylor Jenkins Reid, a startling, razor-sharp debut. I have to admit, I'm in awe. I mean, and her book, Taylor's book, was like the #1 book last year, right? So this book, she knows a good book. Okay, Kylie, she knows a good book, and I think that that's amazing that she has said that about yours. And when I went into this book, I don't read reviews, so I was like, okay, let's just see what I like about it without reading the reviews. Then I read the book, and then I read the reviews, and what I found fascinating is that people either loved this book or didn't like it at all. There was nothing in between. And I was like, that's so interesting for a book to have that kind of an emotion. So we're going to get into it, and I'm going to give you my opinion as to why this book brought out so many opinions from people. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I love this book, because I did. I was in that part of the reviews. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the best book I have read in a while. And, but I read a lot of good books, but still, this one was amazing. So anyway, number 5, some of this book is set in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. I mean, I'm shooting this from Orfield, but Allentown, I mean, come on. I don't know. Like, I was like, did she grow up there? How did she know about Allentown? But she didn't. She actually lives in Philly, and she was in Tucson. I think she was born in California. So, like, if I were to talk to her, I'd say, like, how do you know, Kylie? How? How do you know about Allentown? I don't know. But I also love that her name is Kylie, because I have a granddaughter named Kylie. She spells it a little different, but still, I love that. I love that name. But anyway, I got off topic here, all right? Allentown. Some of this book takes place in Allentown. Love that. Number 2, I think this is why this book is so controversial, because she gets into racism. And I love how she did it. And I have to tell you, Kylie, when I tell you I didn't look up anything about this book, because that's what I do, right? And I've had a lot of authors kind of criticize me for not looking up their books before I read them, but it's just the way I go into them. And I saw it was on the New York Times bestseller, so I read it, okay? I mean, it's really simple. And no, I don't look up much ahead of time, because I don't want to have any preconceived, right? So anyway, how you, if you're watching it, Kylie, how you dealt with racism is truly amazing. I was like, how do you talk about this without making people mad, right? How do you do it? How do you write a book about racism in a different way than I've really read, because it's like current, right? But we're in the year 2020. We don't think it exists anymore. And I think your book kind of shows that it does. And I love the point of view that you take of it, though. I love that you could write from the white woman's perspective and the black girl's perspective. And I found it fascinating and really thinking. And I think that's why I think a lot of people are like, no, I don't want to read about racism. I don't want to deal with it. And a lot of people don't want to deal with it. But I loved it. I thought you did it beautifully. So number 3, there are 2 main characters in this book. Alex, who is the white woman, and then Myra, and I hope I'm saying that right, who is the black girl who is her nanny. My number 3 reason is because of Alex, because she doesn't really see that she's racist. Really, by the end of the book, I'm like, it's a, what is the word? It's like, she's just naive to it. She was just raised that way, which is what I think the point was, if I'm not mistaken. but I loved the way you wrote her. Which brings me to number 4, which was a Myra. Of course, like, her life was so amazing. Like, I don't know, like, her perspective. I learned so much from each one of these women about what we go through as women, as a white woman, as a black woman in today's age. I'm not even going to go into my life because I'm like, oh, well, I'll just throw in there about like what I've experienced. But no, I'm not going to do that because everybody has their own experience. And this book really takes you deep into it, into interracial relationships, into not racial, into same race relationships, and age differences and all kinds of crazy stuff. And this is why this book is on the New York Times bestseller, because she just nails it. And then my number 5 reason is Kylie, because she's a debut author, because her book has been on the New York Times bestseller for 4 weeks as a debut author, because that is amazing. She was born in 1984, so she's like 35, 36 years old. She lives in Philadelphia. And you know what, Kylie? You have made me a fan. I cannot wait until your next book. You keep going because you are a writer for this time. And that's what I loved about it so much. And it's called Such a Fun Age. And I read a lot into that title, especially as I was reading it, because there is a lot to read into it. And this is a book, 320 pages. You're going to zoom right through it. So below, IndieBound, Amazon. It's on the New York Times bestseller for a reason. Go read this book if you haven't already. But if you have, let me know. Let me know what you think, because like I said, everybody's got such strong opinions. I want to know. I loved it, obviously. So everyone, until my next book.